Raise the Flags, a new 10-part Prime original docuseries debuting next Thursday on Prime Video, on the same day that we'll see the Bucs and the Falcons take on each other to kick off Week 15, covering 50 seasons of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers football and the man who helped bring their most recent ring to Central Florida. Ladies and gentlemen, the head coach of that championship team for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Bruce Arians, back on the Rich Eisen Show. What's up, Coach? How you doing?
Doing great, Rich, man. It's great to be back on, baby.
It's great to see you here, too, man. Like I said, when we were talking off air a little bit, I see you on with Pat, and it looks like you're having a blast, man. Looks like you're having a total blast.
It really is. It's such a great crew and such a great time.
Yeah, he's, like I said to you again off the air, he's such a stick in the mud, man. You two can't get along. You two can't get along. But it's great to see you here back on this show as well. The clip we just showed, again, for our radio audience, was basically you sitting down with Tom Brady for the first time after when you acquired him, or you were in the midst of trying to get him to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers? Walk me through that.
It was about the recruiting process, and Jason Light had a history with, and John Spytek both, with Tom. So for us, it was just a matter of him feeling us out and us feeling him out, and I think we recruited each other as hard as the other one was. So it was like he knew everything there was to know about us, and for me, it was such an easy thing.
Well, I mean, obviously, we know who he was, and he knew who you were. What made it work between the two of you, do you think?
Well, I think Tampa had everything he was looking for. He wanted to stay on the East Coast, close to Jack and his son, and obviously he was building a house in Florida at the time, and so everything worked out. Plus we had Mike Evans and Chris Godwin, and we were fortunate to trade for Gronk and got all the pieces. He knew everything about our football team and how close we were.
Well, I mean, listen, though, bottom line, obviously that helps, but he had to trust you, and you obviously knowing the situation he had come from, hard coaching. I mean, Bill as much as anybody else. So what do you think about you and him that worked out, do you think?
Yeah, it was so different for him to hear it from a head coach offensive mind versus a head coach defensive mind, and one that's a little more no risk it, no biscuit than Bill was. So, that part took a little time and growing used to, but he was looking forward to it. And, it's the philosophy of, hey, there's a minute left and there's 2 timeouts. We're gonna just run it out right at halftime. I said, hell no, brother, we're going for points, man. That's what we do. And it took a little time, but that was the year we had no OTAs and no preseason games, and it was crazy.
Yeah, I know that was the COVID era. Walk me through though, where you had to give a little bit to Tom, that you had to sit down maybe for a split second and go, do I really want to do this? And heck yeah, it's Tom Brady. Was there a moment like that for you, Bruce?
No. Once we made the decision that he could still do it at a very, very, very high level, and we weren't really unsold on Jameis Winston. We figured we could correct some of the mistakes he was making. He did throw for 5,000 yards and 36 touchdowns. And Byron Leftwich just did an unbelievable job that year with Jameis. And then, for Tom, it was, hey, I know your offense. I've been in it. You're very, very smart. It's a difficult one to learn for 21 other guys. How about you just learn ours? He was, oh yeah, coach, that's not a problem. It's just terminology and how he read things out, how he wanted routes run, and you meet in the middle with all that kind of stuff.
Well, and you got a good story of during a timeout where you and Tom got together, hashed something out, and then it turned into something big and successful for your Super Bowl team. Yeah. Bruce, you got a good one?
Yeah, right. I think it was about maybe a minute and 15, maybe a minute and 20 right before half, and we had the lead in the Super Bowl. And Tom comes over, we got 80 yards to go, and hey, we're just gonna take it real easy, right? Because I said, heck no, man. We're gonna be very smart with the ball, but if you get a shot to Mike, take it. And of course, he takes a Mike shot and gets a PI, gets another PI, and we get a touchdown. And it's like that one and the one up in Green Bay with about 6 seconds left. I got pissed off, called timeout. We ain't punting. And Byron Leftwich called a jewel. And Tom looked at him and said, "This is going to work, man. They're going to squat on it." And he throws that touchdown to Scotty Miller up in Green Bay right before the half. So I think the half of both of those games determined those games.
Wow, that was a holy S moment for me, Bruce, to be honest with you. That Scotty Miller play. For me, where I'm sitting there going, this, because the entire season, I'm sitting there saying, I can't believe that Tom's going to be in a new spot for the first time. And this had nothing to do with you, the team, everything. I just couldn't imagine that Brady would finally go to a new spot and it would work out to the ultimate in his first shot at it. And I was always sitting there going, there's got to be some moment where this turns back into a pumpkin, you know? And then he had that moment with Scotty Miller against the Packers. And I'm like, holy S, like this is actually going to happen, that they're going to make the Super Bowl here. And then all bets would be off, certainly playing in Raymond James, despite it taking on the Chiefs. Bruce, I'm wondering if that happened for you too at that point.
Yeah, leading the whole week leading up to the game, Rich, in Green Bay, they're hanging all the Super Bowl banners and stuff in the stadium. And I say, hey, boys, you better not be looking at that stuff because we'll get our ass kicked up in Green Bay if you're looking over there worrying about the Super Bowl. Hey, well, we got the championship game to win first. So don't be looking over there and getting ahead of yourself. And, that team was so grounded. We had such great leadership on it. And, the offense, defense, special teams, the whole crew. And that game in Green Bay, I think just something about winning at Lambeau is so unique and so cool.
Yeah, I didn't even think of that. So, because the preps for the Super Bowl, they have to change the stadium around. And certainly if you're not hosting the NFC Championship game, so they can get in nice and early. So and your facilities are right there. It's not like, again, the Rams in SoFi that they practice, Southern California. They might as well be in Vermont, you know what I mean, compared to where they play the games. So you had to have your guys would be walking around seeing the preps for the Super Bowl before taking on Green Bay. That actually happened. Huh?
Yeah, all our meetings were outside. We ate outside. Right. We did have a huge advantage being in Florida that
sure
the ownership built us all the facilities we needed outside. And we're standing there just looking straight over there. All I see is Super Bowl banners, and they're hanging stuff, and the trucks are going down the street like, whoa, don't get ahead of ourselves here, boy.
Yeah, like don't pay attention to that you can make and play in your own stadium. And I just remember, right, exactly. And I remember on game day morning when we did the pregame show in that stadium, and there were the cardboard cutouts that they were putting in chairs, in seats, and it was really wild, to be honest. But anyway, long story short is Michael Irvin sat on the set and said, there is no way the Bucs are losing this game. And I'm like, all right, why? And he's like, there's no way. He goes, if I was on this team, I would say there is no way we're going to let anybody come on our field and have the ultimate victory against us. I will never set foot on this field without thinking about that, and I will refuse to allow that to happen. I'm wondering if that was also a sensibility your team had for that game, Bruce.
I'm not a big speech giver.
Yep.
And we rallied them up before the game, and I said what I wanted to say. Then Tom gave a hell of a speech, and it was short but right to the point about becoming legendary. And our guys, you could tell they were ready. I mean, and we got embarrassed by Kansas City earlier in the year, so it was a little bit of a payback too. And Todd Bowles' defensive game plan was outstanding. Byron Leftwich's game plan on offense, to run the ball as well as we did, was outstanding.
Obviously, we're diving into the Bruce Arians portion of the Buccaneers' history. Raise the Flags, a new 10-part Prime original docuseries debuting next week when the Bucs and the Falcons have at it on Prime Video. Also includes the birth of the team, the Bo Jackson drafting of that went down in Tampa, the hiring of Dungy, Gruden. So much more. Raise the Flags. Bruce Arians here on the show. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about the current game that I know you're completely up on because you and Pat chop it up all the time. The best team in the NFL right now. It's so difficult to try and identify one because it just seems to be so wide open right now. Bruce, who do you think that is?
Now? I keep going back and forth. I thought the Rams were, and then they go to Carolina and Dave Canales and Harold Goodwin and Joey Gilbert, they've done a hell of a job in Carolina. I don't know if there is a best team in the NFL. Right now, I know this. You don't want to play Seattle at home. You don't want to play Detroit at home. You don't want to play really any of the really good teams at home, especially Denver. People that have that speed pass rush. You're going like last night was a prime example. Dallas has been playing great, but those tackles had no chance, especially against Aiden Hutchinson alone with that crowd noise. People don't realize how much crowd noise affects the offensive line.
So if you had to put your marker on one, would be who? Come on, you know why these shows work, Bruce. You got to give me. I don't have a topic bar at the bottom that you have to answer a specific question, but if you had to put your marker on one right now with a month to go, I'm
a little bit of a homer. I think the Bucs with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Jamel McMillan, and then even Clyde Jacansey, all may be coming back in the next 2 weeks. I think the Bucs could be getting healthy at the right time. Get a couple of wins under their belt, and have those 2 games with the Panthers and see who goes. But again, home field advantage in the playoffs is huge.
And then what about the AFC? Who do you think is the team out there? Right?
I'm going to say it again. I just watch out for the Bengals, man. I just think with Joey B coming back, they're going to get on a run and win the North, and they can go on the road. They can go on the run and score points against anybody.
Because he's Burrow. I mean, how does that work where a defense can't stop a cold? And obviously they were beginning to get a little bit better before Burrow comes back. He comes back. They come up with their best defensive performance of the season. I know there's another team that's involved, and the Ravens have been struggling on offense, which is another reason why a lot of people would agree with your sensibility about the Bengals. But how does that happen?
It's crazy. What one guy can change it. What Patrick Mahomes has done in Kansas City, he's raised the level of play for everybody. And I think Joe Burrow does the same thing. And when he's in that locker room, there's an air of confidence without defense, offense, special teams. And Joe Flacco, man, he did an unbelievable job in his absence, getting that ball to Chase and Higgins, and all of a sudden they got a running game. So I think the Bengals are a team that could get on a roll. If they can get past the Bills, they got maybe the easiest schedule going out.
Brother, if the Bengals and Bucs play each other in Super Bowl 60, I'm coming to you for Powerball numbers, okay?
There you go, brother.
Okay, just if there's billions on the line, I'm coming to you and say, tell me some numbers. Hit me with that Powerball if it's Bucs and Bengals in Santa Clara come February. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about what's going on in Pittsburgh, a former haunt of yours. And I know that you have a history there. But what do you think about what is happening there? Rodgers, age 42. Tomlin is hearing chants of his name no longer, the fans asking him to be fired. What do you think, Bruce, about that?
Yeah, it's a sad state. I mean, I'm watching the history of the Steelers and know the history very well, being a part of it for 8 years. And for the Packers to come in and Aaron Rodgers to have to use a silent count at Heinz Field, that was the first sign to me that something was seriously wrong. And to lose the way they're losing at Heinz Field, and for the fans to be booing Renegade, there's something missing. I don't know what it is, having not being in their locker room, and I hate to say anything about that, but when I hear Ben talk, when I hear James talk, and some of the guys, former players, everybody's frustrated, because it's not the level of play the Steelers are expecting to watch and see, and especially the Steeler fans. I personally think it'd probably be good for Mike to move on to another place. And, I know that's hard to say, but sometimes the message gets a little stale. And, we just got to see what happens. They can still win the division.
Well, and again, how tough it is to go to a new spot sometimes, or you also know how easy it is to go to a new spot and get a new start, right? I mean, and so.
When I was in Pittsburgh, they had BruceArians.com on the table every night. So,
so you're well.
I know the feeling.
You're well aware of that, and again, I have said, that it does look like something is up as well. And you got just look, Andy on the eastern part of the state was so synonymous with a franchise, and now look in a new spot. We saw what happened with you when you wound up with the Colts and then in Arizona and clearly with Tampa as well. But what does it take for a coach to sometimes realize it? You had it foisted on you, but what does it take for a coach in a spot to just realize maybe this is it, Bruce?
Yeah, I don't know if we ever realized that. There's too much ego involved, and hey, I can fix this. We know we've done it for a long time. It's been a long time since they've been in a playoff hunt seriously, but I don't know. It's a tough call because the Steelers' history is we don't fire coaches. That's for sure.
Bruce, it's great to see you, man. Family's good. Everybody's good. You got the whole fam.
Everybody's doing great, man. Yeah, Jake's going to have a hip replaced here in the next week or so, but
okay,
it's from his kicking leg, but everybody's doing great. Yeah,
everybody's great. That's great to see, and I love all those trophies behind you and all the stuff that's going on with you. I always love looking up and seeing you, like I said, chopping it up on McAfee and just being happy and doing what you want to do. It's all well deserved, man. All well deserved.
I appreciate it, brother. You know it.
You're right back at you. Bruce Arians here. Everybody check out Raise the Flags, a new 10-part Prime original docuseries debuting next week when the Bucs, who Bruce says look out for, are taking on the Falcons on Prime Video kickoff week 15. Bruce Arians right here on The Rich Eisen Show. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.